Hello and welcome to Terrace Talk. It's just myself and Duncan, with the others still preparing themselves ready for the kickoff on Saturday, and the one in Sweden having internet connection issues. He's probably still crying over the fact that Isak scored on Sunday, but yeah, we'll get over that. And he's won silverware. We're here.
Celebrating.
And even in Black Mamba, we knew fine well it wouldn't be a show if Black Mamba wasn't watching. So again, welcome and thank you. What we're going to do is we're just going to start off. No point asking how Duncan is because he's always fine. So
I'm always fine.
yeah. And this is just obviously just having a look at this weekend gone. We're going to have a look at this now. We'll look at this again in terms of the results and that. But a lot's been said over the fact that people were saying that £55 was a bit too expensive. We need to remember that was for 2 days and it was for all the games of football.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was up to you whether or not you went to all those games of football. But if you did, like I did, and I watched all 5 games, that worked out at £11 a game, which is good value for money. If you only wanted to go for 1 day, it was only £30, which I still think is quite reasonable given the opposition that we're going to get. Yeah, these are reputable teams that have played in European football. Like I said, Nice and Villarreal, the first game was quite a decent game actually, and you looked at it and you're thinking 2 really good sides. Villarreal got a bit of a dodgy penalty, but we'll move away from that one. But no, it was a good, really good. And as I said, Nice for me was they were a side that were impressing me, in that sense. And then obviously Fiorentina, we came in there, and again they were a decent side. Yeah, Lukas Jovic is a good striker, and they've got some good quality in there. But we had a little bit too much for them. I did also think Michael Oliver was compensating a little bit too much to not be biased towards Newcastle, and we're giving a lot more the other way to Fiorentina. But no, he was still by far probably one of the better referees that were there over the day there. But no, it was great to see Michael Oliver get a chance to do that. And I think that day was probably more in attendance because it maybe like a couple of thousand more. But it was still great. There was still a good atmosphere. The safe standing section was create a lot more noise. I will say they were very vocal in that, and it was really great to see. When the Sunday came, the only thing, actually, just going back on the only thing that I was disappointed on the Saturday with was that quite a lot of fans left for the women's game, and that was just the point where disappointed me a little bit because I just think they probably deserved a larger crowd. But I think it was the fact of it being the 3rd game of the day. It was a 6 o'clock kickoff. I think that just played a little bit into it because whereas you'd normally keep the kids there, kids were probably going to get tired by that point.
And getting
home. I'm sure there'll be plenty more chances for the women's team at St James's Park. Moving to the Sunday, no issue with the card machines as we did on Saturday, so that was a bit of a fiasco. But again, and talking about refereeing, the Nice Fiorentina game, quite tasty in terms of the game because there was quite a lot of fighting going along, and I'm surprised no one got sent off. But yeah, you looked at that; it was entertaining. It was good. Again, Fiorentina were the better side compared to Nice. So it was just one of those things where, again, great to see some different sides, and I think it's nice to go to St James Park and not just see Newcastle United play. So that was fun, and then obviously on came our game where we had Callum Wilson, Jacob Murphy, Matt Ritchie, Harvey Barnes, and I have to say Harvey Barnes, my God, what a player he is! He looked absolutely top class. I'm
not sure whether he's going to start from the outset, but for me,
I would. And I'm going to, because he looks fit enough. He's got pace to burn. He was so fast. He was actually faster than I actually thought. Like when you see him, when you're going, oh, actually, crazy.
Where was he playing now?
In like the maxi position, like the left
side. And Gordon, where does he play?
Gordon can play either on the left at 10 or on the right, or as a striker.
Yeah.
So Gordon's
I mean,
more versatile. I am going to be honest, if it was me, I'd probably stick Gordon on the bench. Just
I would
purely.
go Gordon on the right instead of Miggy.
Well, no. Miggy got a chance on Saturday.
Put it away.
Finished.
Yeah.
Gordon had 2 chances and fluffed them. So for me, if I'm looking at who finished them, yeah, Miggy. So Miggy's
Yeah.
gonna have a boost because of that.
First chance. Yeah.
Black Mama said Harvey's looking good. Think he's going to get us a fair few goals this season and assist too, especially when he's fully up to the squad fitness and he's molded in exactly the point. And I'm going to say I actually think he's done quite well to mold in there. He was getting in the right places. He was running at them, and I'm going to say 2 decent finishes for him for the 2 goals that he got, and it was like really good. Joe Linton again. He's come back. Yeah, same old Joe Linton. He was really good. I'm actually going to say this, and I thought Lascelles and Dummett did relatively well for that game, and I'm actually going to praise Paul Dummett, especially in the first half when I was watching it. I thought he was all over the place. He was covering from Lascelles at the back. He was always getting in there. He was getting the tacklers in. He was doing his job right, and I think we've probably maybe written him off, but he's not a bad choice
as backup. Yeah.
No, certainly not. And then you look at Jamal Lascelles, again, a great choice. And as people are saying, sometimes in some games you just need like a no-nonsense centre back. So generally, and some said this in some European games, if you may be in the lead, you just stick them on to go 5 at the back, and they're just to try and see out the games.
Yeah,
that's when that's going to happen.
Tonali didn't play either, no.
No, he played on the side, but we'll go into to the new signings. I am actually going to have to give praise to the young lads. Firstly, Alex Murphy. He played against Chelsea at left back out in Atlanta, and I thought he was really good and was doing really well on the left. On Saturday, he played as the right centre back partner to Sven Botman, and the greatest praise I can give him is you would have thought he was a seasoned centre back like Fabian Shaw playing alongside him. Yeah. He looked so composed and comfortable in that position, and it's exciting to see. We've got youngsters like him. Lewis Miley again. My God, what I was impressed with him against Chelsea. I thought he looked good. He looked just as good against Fiorentina. He doesn't mind. He gets stuck in. He's actually taller. He gets tall. He's taller than a lot of people think. Actually, Lewis Miley.
Yeah.
When you see him, and he's all over the place. And then obviously Elliot Anderson. My God, what a player he is! I'm just so impressed with him. I think he's outstanding.
And where does he play? What's gonna?
I think he's gonna. I think Eddie Howe's going to try and put him into the centre of midfield. And I'm going to say this, and this, Joe Linton's going to start in the midfield. Bruno's going to start in the midfield. I don't think Longstaff's fit enough because he only played his first friendly on there, so I wouldn't be chucking him straight in. Obviously, we've still got Willock. I haven't seen Willock all pre-season, and he's to come in. I just don't think it would be fair chucking Tonali in straight away.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Elliot Anderson starting. So I have Joe Linton, Bruno, and Elliot Anderson. And I think those 3 would, it's a bloody good, the one thing which I'm going to say this weekend has actually shown, we've got a stronger squad than I think.
Much better.
Probably
a lot stronger than people. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I think so. And
Jacob Murphy played at right back in the lineup, and he stood, and again another cracking goal from him on the Sunday, and that's what he seems to be doing at the moment. Now he's getting some really good goals. Now obviously you did mention him, and we are going to come on to the new signings. First of all, Sandro Tonali. Not only is he handsome and suave, but I do think he's going to be a good player. He runs everywhere. He runs after the ball. He gets forward. He gets back. He covers a lot of ground, and that's something that I saw on Saturday. he was he covered a lot. I agree with that. Remember, I think Tonali's going to be slowly built into the team like Bruno was. Yeah, he needs to get used to the Premier League and that, and I think it would be wrong to just chuck him in. Other managers probably would have, not mentioned any names. Steve Bruce.
Yeah. Because of the price tag and his experience and where he's come from.
Yeah, but I just think we need to, let's ease him in. Yeah, he's still a young lad. Let's not put too much pressure on him. We're in a great position that we don't need to really chuck him in. Yeah, you've got Elliot Anderson, you've got Sean Longstaff there. We've got options in the midfield. Lewis Miley, if Bush really came away, in terms of that sense. So but I said I'm a lot more impressed with what I saw. I think it's a bit unfair to judge him on the 2 pre-season friendlies we're probably seeing from him out there, but he's well worth it. He's getting there. He's improving, and I actually thought he had a really good game, and he is going to get better. I just think it's something that we need to just give time on. We'll go with the second, what we'll class as the really one that we brought in, this lad. And if Sunday is anything to go from, we've got a player on our hands here. And I might get pelters for it, but I'm already over ASM. Just off that one. No, for me, look, I still love ASM. There's still the romance of what he did and the skills that he's done, and that's great. But for me, Harvey Barnes, from what I saw on Sunday, he can run, he can go after player, he can muscle players off the ball. What he can pass when the time's right, so he knows how to do that, and he can put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
So I just think that I know why Eddie Howe's went after him now, and again, we can all question, should we be going for these signings? But to be fair, have we got a signing wrong under this regime? Nah, not really. And obviously the final one, which has just been announced today, I can't really say I've seen him play because I haven't seen him play for Newcastle, but obviously we've got a Tino we've got a Barnes and a Tino in the lineup for the first time since the 90s. The back. I still love the fact that you look at that name and you think, Valentino Livramento, he's probably like Spanish or Italian.
Yeah.
No, you think he was born in Croydon.
Yeah.
But this lad, and again, he's 20 years old. And before he had his injury at Southampton, everyone was raving about him. I think, again, we've got a really top class fullback here.
So where's he going to play in the meantime? Though, right back, or can he play both?
I'm going to say this: I wouldn't be surprised if you could see him playing further back, like on the right wing, because I think he's probably got that versatility where he could play there. He can move to left back if needs be. He can play right back, and that's the thing. Sometimes we might need to just give Trippier a rest because we're going to be playing more games. We're going to need him.
Yeah.
So it might be the case that in a league game we go, do you know what? We'll start Livramento and we'll keep Trippier fresh for the Champions League game. That might be something that we do. And do you know what? Am I going to be? Are we going to be looking at that going? Oh no, we're going to be putting that in there. That member says, not seen Tino in action, but with all the talk about him, Dan haven't chased him for ages, according to sources. I'm interested to see what he brings us in the long term. That's actually the thing from these players, like probably Livramento and probably even Harvey Bond. They're players that were probably tracked by Eddie Howe when he was at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And as they continue to do that, what's your thoughts on the 3 signings? Because I've talked a lot and I want a bit of a rest. So
yeah. I think I totally agree with Harvey Barnes. I was thinking fantasy football wise for Harvey Barnes, I think he's 10, 13, 14 goals a season for sure. Tonali, again, agree. I think he'll be brought in like Bruno was. And then Livramento, he's obviously one for not necessarily this season, but possibly next season or the season after. But like you say, we've got a lot more games to play. And if you use Man City and their rotation as an example, you know, there's going to be Sheffield United at St James's Park. You might not need to play all your big guns.
Exactly.
You know, anyone in the bottom 5, bottom 6, we could look at mixing it up for those games, saving people for Champions League.
So let's take even like a Burnley.
Rotation.
Let's say Burnley, because I think Burnley's probably coming up quite close. You might say, okay, we'll start Callum Wilson, we'll start Jacob Murphy, we'll start Anthony Gordon. We can start.
And I don't think he's afraid to do that. You know, he's not like he's playing, you know, FIFA 23 where you
and also
you've got the same starting 11. Yeah.
If we're doing like let's say a Tranmere in the Carabao Cup games, I still think you putting Jacob Murphy, Callum Wilson, Anthony Gordon, let's say Lewis Miley, Elliot Anderson, Sean Longstaff.
It'd be interesting to see how many games they could potentially play this season.
But I think we are going to need squad rotation because you can't
massively
play all those games. So there is going to be time where that happens. Just going into you when you're saying about Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes has more goal contributions in his career against Aston Villa than any other team.
Oh, there you go then. So straight
for me,
into fantasy football.
A bit like, and I'm going to say, like Callum Wilson started against West Ham because he's got a really good record against West Ham.
Yeah.
You probably need to do that from there. It's a fantastic decision that he's got, because you're going to be looking at that and you're going, right, Eddie, so what you're going to do? And he's going to be like, well, what am I going to do? Yeah, I've got either Livermore or Trippier at right back. I've got 6 really good options in centre midfield. I've got options up front, and
do you not think the only place that may be lacking is the 2 strikers? You know, you've only got 2, but then you can only play 1, so they have got position. You know, they've got 2 to cover 1 position essentially, haven't they?
Yeah. So Black Mamba said the same thing. End of last season showed how playing the same team every week took its toll on Sean and Joe. Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's obviously why we need to have that. And we're going to have the options. I would say there's probably 3 places we're a little bit weak at the moment. One's left back. One's the right centre mid. Right central defender spot. And I still think we're a right winger away.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Right winger for sure.
Now, the right winger I can probably get away with because, like you said, Elliot Anderson can play there if needs be. We've got Miggy, we've got Jacob Murphy, and Anthony Gordon can play there if needs be. So, whilst it's not as important as I think the right centre back and the left back is, that's an option. It might be an option that we could look at in January. But I do just think, when you're looking at that, we are so close to having like a really good squad.
I would say, I'm not sure if it's going to be a top 4 squad, but I'd definitely say if you look at all the squads
would you have said 7, that last season though?
No, but then I think if you look at the top 7, which is where we're going to sit, have we got the 7th worst best squad out of the top 7? No. I'd say 4th or 5th. Are we better than Tottenham squad? I would say so. Chelsea, no one. I couldn't tell you a Chelsea player at the moment.
Well, we're due 1-1 with them, and that was when we had it. So I think Chelsea's an unknown, but we could probably still go against them. Liverpool,
there's a couple in there. You got to admit that, but
there's a couple, but I'm still not. Like that. Yeah, you're looking at that. Arsenal, of course, they've strengthened, and to be honest, they've strengthened really well. Right?
They played really well.
Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and what was the other one? My mind's gone completely blank. If anyone in the chat remembers.
Somebody. But they have, and they played really well as well. The way they were close controlling the ball. Obviously, Man City, you're going to say, is number 1. Man United have improved as well. I think,
Timber, the Ajax right centre back, that was the one.
That's it. Yeah.
So
but I think it's going to
really well. Have Man U strengthened well? I'm not so sure.
supposedly decent goalkeeper, although I've seen some of the videos about him playing in goal, and they are very suspect.
Yeah,
but
and he seems to get quite over it. Like, look how irate he got with Harry Maguire, and that was in a friendly.
Yeah, and look how he got caught out straight. Everyone said he goes too far out. He makes big mistakes. His first
and
game,
and the striker,
he went so far out, and they just chipped him from the halfway line.
And then the striker you're looking at, I'm
unheard of.
The jury's out with Man U for that side. Man City, well, Christ, Man City, yeah, they've just went out and signed Guardiola, and you just going.
I mean, what a signing that is! Yeah.
Exactly. So Man City, you're probably looking at and going, okay. So I'd say Man City and Arsenal, you're looking at the squads and go, but we're never going to know. Tonali, and this is okay. Tonali is a player who was playing in a Champions League semi-final last season.
Yeah.
Harvey Barnes got ridiculous stats for his assists and goals in a poor Leicester City side.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine what he's going to do when he's got the players like Alexander Isak, Miggy, Gordon.
That's the other thing as well. I was listening to TalkSport today. Oh, by the way, I don't know if anyone heard about Simon Jordan today.
Yeah, I have read that, and
yeah. So
all our wishes to Simon Jordan. I know we might not have agreed with everything that he said, but it is again, and I will just reiterate exactly what he said. Get checked out.
Yeah, 100% agree. But that was a bit of a shock news. But anyway, they were talking about the odds. They get the guy on from Paddy Power, and I think Isak is something like 14, 16 to 1. Bet responsibly, obviously. 14, 16 to 1 to be top scorer. Not top scorer, top 3 or 4, because that's incredibly short odds for top scorer. Top scorer, I think, was in the 20s or 30s. That's worth a couple of quid because he's banging in goals and against good teams as well. So, I think we could have quite a good one with Isak this season for sure.
Just going to our net spend currently for this window is circa around 95 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now you look at that and you look at the spend and you go, well. In fact, actually, we'll look at it because that was something which I'd actually well. Tell you what, while I'm looking for that, I'm just going to bring this up because obviously you've got to have that.
Oh, I saw that trophy lift that actually had me laughing proper LOLing. That was not just the up and down, but when he holds it still and does his little leg jiggle and then puts it up.
Exactly. It's what everyone wants. It's just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And then obviously,
hilarious.
There we go. Yeah. Now, if you look at it, I'm going to say that you had Jamie Miley, had Jay Turner Cook, Michael Nvidi, you had Ben Parkinson in there, Remy Savage. So you had some of the young lads. It's a great opportunity for them to get that ability. And look, Jamal Lascelles lifted a trophy. Yeah. I know it's only the Cellar Cup. And again, there was the joke from Darren Eales of, oh, look at this, we're the only team to win
history.
To win the Deraya and Cellar Cup in the same season. But no, it's
but so you talking about net spend, us to get Champions League when we got it was, let's be honest, completely unexpected. And it might have been part of the progression plan, but it wasn't necessarily part of the financial plan. So we're constantly chasing our tails because yes, we get Champions League revenue, but if you look at that Cellar Park that they're building, they're revenue builders. The new ticketing pricing, they've gone up like 3%, but that's massive revenue builders.
Yeah,
so and they create the US to it creates more interest, creates more revenue. So we're probably about 3 years behind the financial plan to be buying these kind of players. But
you also look at that. We've just pulled someone from Liverpool in terms of like the brand partnership. We're building just not only a strong team on the pitch, but we're building a strong team off the pitch. We've got a financial officer in. We've got the Peter Silverstone, who's like the commercial director. You've got now the brand partnership. That's what we're looking to do. Like, so we've got the deal with Cellar. Obviously, the cup. I know everyone's having a joke, but Visit Malta we managed to get them in. And yes, so what if it's loads of advertising? If they're going to put some good
Well, the
money
other
into the
thing,
club,
have you noticed that all the training kit doesn't have a sponsor? So if you look at all
Yeah.
the top clubs, they've got a match day sponsor, like Fun 88, but you also have a training kit sponsor. So we will get, it might be Visit Malta, it might be, you know, Live Golf or something like that, but there will be another sponsor on the training kit.
it will.
More revenue, you know, that's
It could be. We had
the other thing that might happen, which we could talk about on another episode, is how do we feel about the renaming of St James's Park? Is that something that they could look at revenue rights on that? Because that could generate millions.
Well, just while we're looking at this is what I'm just gonna. These are the fees that we've spent.
Mm-hmm.
So Yankubu Minter, you're probably looking at maybe $1 million or a couple of million in that. It's not going to be a lot. I still think 55 million for Tonali is an absolute.
I think it was
steal.
up to like 65, wasn't it, with add-ons? But
well,
initially,
it is. But the initial costs,
yeah,
you are looking at that. It's like, come on, 55 million, 39 million for Harvey Barnes. You were always going to get what everyone classes as the English player tax, and then 32 million for Tino Livramento. I still think is a cracking piece.
It's a cracking piece, and also we need to look at what term these guys are signed on, because whatever that figure was, 126 million, divide that by 4.
I think all of them have signed 5-year contracts. I'd worked out the fee for Livramento. It works out at about 7 million over the 5 years, so that's 7 million in terms of revenue.
So each year we're looking at 30 million a season over the next 5 seasons on those players alone. I know we're going to spend more, but we'll make more in those 5 years. And you sold Maxley for 30 million. They probably paid cash for that, so that wipes out this year. So we're actually probably zero for this year on those 5-year.
Well, that's the thing. Let's say we'd hit, because we're probably still paying for like other players, which we might have already got rid of. But you're looking at it and you're going, right, so 25 million for Maxley, right? That 25 million gives us an extra 25 million. So 7 million for, let's say, Harvey Barnes, 7 million for Livramento, that's 40 now. That gives you another 10 million.
Yeah.
In terms of the amortization of the contracts to bring maybe 1 or 2 more players in. So
and in 5 years' time, we could be regularly qualifying for Champions League, which is over 100 million of income every year. You know, that's where we need to be. And then the Cellar Park will be there. That will be generating millions of pounds a year of income. But it is about the amortization for sure. Like,
here's a question for you, because we need to now. Obviously, just to as a quick in there, we went through our pre-season unbeaten, and we played Rangers, Aston Villa, Chelsea,
Fiorentina,
Brighton. Now, Fiorentina are in the Conference League. I think Villarreal have been in the Champions League recently.
Yeah.
Aston Villa are going to be in the Conference. Brighton are in the Europa League, and Chelsea, they're not in Europe, but they normally are. So you look at that and you think, well, we've had some really good opposition and we've stayed unbeaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking at that, but let's look ahead to it, and we're going to go, do you think we will finish in the top 4 this season?
I don't think so. I think.
Do you think we'll finish in the top 7?
I think we'll finish in European place for sure.
Yeah.
And I would love a league. I'd love to go back to Wembley. And if we can keep European football, get to Wembley and actually win, that to me would be better than getting Champions League again. But equally, you know, I've had people say to me, once Newcastle get that, you'll find it really, really hard to take it away from them because of the amount of revenue and the amount of, you know, the position it puts them in. So yes, Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea are fantastic. Man United, fantastic teams. But like last season proved, they've only got over a run of 3 bad games and they're 6 points behind, 9 points behind. And as that's proven, what was the final position? We were only 3 points clear of Champions League football. It's a little slip up over a month that can take them out of it. So it's who slips up over a short period of time that's going to determine it. But I think European football, I'd love to go back to Wembley. and have a decent run in the Champions League. Like, get out of the group. If we can get out of the group,
Hopefully not as high up though this time.
Yeah.
But no, it is that, and I just think I was about to say top six. I do think top 6 to top 7 is out. We need to stay in European places. In
it's
that.
got, and also the Conference League really isn't where we want to be. It needs to be what I would call the UEFA Cup.
This is
more gravitas around.
This is the thing. I've actually said that. Would it not be better to finish 3rd in the Champions League group than finish 2nd? Because if you finish 2nd, you get to the knockout stages, but you could then get knocked out straight away. You finish 3rd, you then drop into the Europa League places.
But that's one more game in the knockout stages, isn't it? It's just, and it could be something.
But let's say we're sitting 7th in the Premier League. Finish 3rd in the Champions League, you knock into the Europa League, you could go and face those teams, get to the final of the Europa League, win it. 1, we've won a trophy. 2, we're then back into the Champions League because we've won the Europa League.
Yeah. I think we'd have to cross that bridge when we come to it, but I cannot wait for the Champions League draw. We should do a live cast for the Champions League draw.
Depending on when it is.
Who cares? Stay up.
Well, no, it's not. It's going to be during the day, but it's whether or not work commitments get in the way of it, but we'll certainly look at that.
I think that'd be ace.
I'm going to do a quick couple of minutes on the Villa preview, just purely for the fact that work commitments may mean that we can't do this week's, but we may look at doing it in the future. Moving on, it's just purely down to time constraints for this week. If we can get it in, we'll get it in. But let's look at this. Do you think? Yeah. Well, you're up for it. You're coming up for this game.
I am up for it, and I'm up.
How are you feeling?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be great to be back. If it's a nice sunny afternoon, it's going to be glorious up there. August in the northeast with the sun out. Live TV game. All the eyes are going to be on Newcastle. Villa, they've done well. But I do think, as always, I think it will be a Newcastle win. And I'll go as far to say as I think St James Park will be the same as it was last season. And it might even be one. I hate to
break it to you, but there's a 44% of thundery showers on Saturday.
Oh, flip. But I think St James's Park could be a bit of a fortress, and we could maybe be home invincibles next season if we play our cards right in the Premier League. So, we were unlucky not to get it last time. We're even better than we were then. So, and we've got Liverpool early doors again at St James's Park, and they're the ones that messed it up for us before. So if we can come out the traps flying, do them.
The only thing that I will request from Sky is, please to God, no spider cam. I hate that thing with a passion.
Yeah. Well, you frightened of spiders? Or?
No, it's just the 2 games that we've had the spider cam in, we've lost.
Yeah. So
I don't really want to have that.
And you were mentioning it earlier. Get to the grounds nice and early. It's going to be like the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Invested a lot in it, and it's going to be more of an atmosphere in the stadium up to an hour and a half before the game, no matter what ticket you've got. So
turnstiles on Saturday open at 3:30 for the next hour, so 4:30, so an hour before kickoff. It is 50% off food and drink.
Yeah.
So probably quite a few inebriated fans.
But you can see the players turn up. You can get the pre-match atmosphere. You can get in the stadium nice and early.
And also, as long as you scan your season ticket before 4:45, it will enter you into an automatic prize draw to win a signed Newcastle United shirt. Just on the basis of the ticketing, just read it when it. Just check on it. It is so simple to do, honestly.
And they don't email out an extra ticket. What you've got in your phone now is your ticket. Is that right?
Yes. So the season ticket is the season ticket for the season.
It will not be for individual
games. Yeah. If you do delete it, by accident, I'm sure you can download it.
You can re-download it. And then if I send it on to someone, I assume they get the ticket in their wallet, but for the game,
yes,
that you've passed on for free.
Yes. Similarly, if you can't attend it and you don't have anyone to pass it on to, if you pass it to the club for resale, if it obviously gets sold, which, yeah, to be
It probably
fair,
will.
it probably will.
But there was 56,000 people in the ballot, so
You
for the
you will get credited for it.
Yeah.
So you can't attend a game, and then let's say it's 44 quid, you'll get £44 credited to your
I
account.
would rather they took it off next season's season ticket, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, they can't. Well, no, it's going to be credited to your account, so they'll sit there as a credit, so you can say right at the end of the season, I couldn't make 4 games, so that's over 100 quid. I can't be bothered to do the maths at the minute.
And then obviously I don't get any money for the tickets that I give away for, like, you know, to friends and things like that.
No, but that's because it's for friends and that, and you want to be nice.
Yeah, that's right.
And the other big thing which came out of it, which we haven't been able to mention, is there will be a small proportion of away tickets available to season ticket holders, regardless of points,
of
loyalty points.
They're going to be expensive, but I will get my wallet out.
They're going to be around £30-ish, because that's
double it.
Because that's normally what. I probably won't. I don't think I want to do the Man City one just purely because it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. Yeah. And it'll be a nightmare to get back with Manchester.
But for me, Arsenal, Tottenham, West Ham, Brentford, Chelsea, Southampton, Bournemouth, Brighton. We ain't got Norwich or Brighton. If we had Norwich and Ipswich...
Well, you haven't got Southampton.
We haven't got Southampton, no.
They went down and they were quite bitter in the...
You're right.
Yeah, they were quite bitter in the statement, I will say.
But I think, you know, because I think those games are really tough for Newcastle fans to get to. And I think the only reason they went there is because the tickets were so cheap, and that the way that it operated enabled them to get them. So they naturally went because they were proper.
But it might mean like a Sheffield United game. Yeah. You might be able to get to it because to be it's quite close. Yeah.
But if you've got Arsenal on a Monday night at 8 o'clock, there's some fans that might go, oh, do you know what?
What it does, and I'm going to say, what it does is it gives fans from, because we are going to have fans. We know that we've got fans in London. It gives those fans in London the perfect opportunity to be able to go.
There's not many with season tickets, though.
Exactly. Well, no, I'd still say there's probably a fair few.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a nice, fair opportunity. And I am actually going to say this. Yes, people will whinge and say, oh, it's taking it off those that have got points.
Frankly, points.
I don't care, because there are others that have there's others that have spoiled it, and you have decided to defend them just to keep the way you're going with your points.
Yeah.
Yes, it's fine. Yes, you built those points.
Nearly 30 years, and I've not got 1 point.
But they'll say you've had chances to get it under the asset you're at. Yeah, that's totally fine. But there are young people coming through now who are just getting season tickets and haven't had the chance to build up those points. How are they going to do that if what I'd still class as an away ticket cartel? They're keeping it in-house.
And also, they should limit it to the number. I don't know if they do that, but they could buy 5 tickets and then sell it with a bus ticket to God knows who. Give them the physical ticket. They get on a bus that they've organised.
Well, no, it's got to be linked to the supporter number.
Yeah, perfect.
And they will be doing random spot checks on ID checks, which I think is a perfect way. People are whinging and going, oh, but it stops it right. But then enter the ballot.
It's fair. Yeah,
it's a fairer way to do it. It also means that there's more accountability.
And it's because if you go... Well, if it was Southend or Rochdale, they'd be like, we need as many people, we'll give the fucking tickets away.
But do you not think it's better as a club if Newcastle United can go to these away clubs and say, look, where we've restricted it, they're not going to be allowed to resell, we're going to do spot checks. So we can say that we're doing everything we can to put your fan safety at
safer, fairer, and it gives, because the fan base is so large now and everybody wants to be there, it makes it able for people that have got no points, that have got season tickets, to go to 1 or 2 away games.
It's a small percentage. Let's say out of the 3,000 that's available for, let's say, Man City,
they might do 500.
300. Well, 300 to 500.
Yeah.
That's fine. It means 300 fans are getting the chance to go to an away game, which
that would never have got a look in. 100%.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah.
And it means that you're starting off, you're getting a point. So you're off the ladder. You've got a point. Wait, you get in. I've got 15.
Yeah, it'll take you 3 years to get anywhere near 50, which is what you need, isn't it?
But it's great to have that opportunity to do that, and I just think, well done. The other thing which I think so good as well is, let's say me and you go into the ballot because we want to go to, let's say, the Chelsea game or whatever. If one's not, you might think that's a bit unfair, but let's say we want to go together. If I'm successful and you're not, then so they'd try and do it so that both are successful in the ballot. If that was going to be the case, so you'd let them know and they'd do it that way. So it's good that way. So let's say if it's like a father and a son, they're not going to say, well, the son's got the ticket but the father hasn't. So it's just the way that works. But I just think it's going to be fair.
No, I agree.
And again, people are whinging about the balloting system. Yes, let's praise the club. They realise they've done something wrong with the pricing aspect of just saying, look, we're going to give you a ticket. It could be anywhere between £40 or £70. They changed that and said, look, you give the price point, and that's that.
That's good. Because if that was me, if I didn't have a season ticket, I'd say I'm actually preferring that, because I would just go straight in for the most expensive ticket.
Exactly. And then and that's the point that you put on there. But people are saying, oh, but it's a ballot. Yeah, it was a ballot last season, but in all but name, because you were getting into the queuing system to do that. So depending on where you were in the queue, decided on whether you were going to get a ticket or not.
You were randomly, so when it
put
all
into
opened
it,
up, you were just put into a place. If you were the first one on at 7 a.m, as soon as it opened, you could be 152.
Exactly.
It was just you were randomized.
So it was a ballot in all but name in that sense. So I'm like, look, it does. Let's just do that. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I never predict it in that sense. I'm never going to predict what Eddie's going to do, because Eddie hadn't heard of Tino Livramento, even though he was in the building. He's done that before. I don't know about Harvey Barnes.
He's here.
Well, that was the fact that they got Harvey Barnes to America and announced him without anyone knowing. Well done on that one, because I didn't have a clue. And then the next thing you know, it's like, oh, Harvey Barnes saying, ooh, and then he's on the bench again.
Before we finish up, Mark, 2 more points from me. The pro shirts are now on the website, but 5-day delivery. And secondly, Friday, the Amazon documentary comes out.
Yes, and there have been some clips on that.
There has,
and
so I'm gonna download it and watch it on the train Saturday morning. I'm not gonna watch it Friday, so no spoilers.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think it's 4 episodes, 1 episode a week.
I hate that, but fair enough, because otherwise I'd watch them all at once. But I'm gonna watch it on the train probably twice.
Well, that's the thing. The one thing I've loved when you've seen the clips, Eddie Howe swearing.
Yeah, give him a fast
love that. I also, you look at that speech that he did for the Man U game, you would have walked on water for him. You would have done anything for him, and that's it. And then the one that they've just released today, it was Amanda on the phone to Dan Ashworth, with the Anthony Gordon, saying, look, give us a chance. Let's hold. I think they're bluffing it.
I saw that.
That's great, because you've seen like the football side, like with Mourinho and Arteta. We're going to see the behind the scenes, like of what it's like when the football. I think it's going to be really, really good to watch. And
I love those shows. 100%.
I'm so excited to see that. I just think it's going to be great. So we're just going to look at that. Cool. So absolutely buzzing.
Nice one.
So
pleasure as always.
Just watch out. If you see something pop up for us, then it'll be the preview, which is great. If you don't, it'll purely just because of constraints with work with everyone that won't be able to do it. But we will try and look to get back to the way that we do it with a preview and this sort of show. So we do at least 2 podcasts a week. But other than that, we'd like to say thank you for watching.
Cool.
Come on the tune. Come on, Tino. And let's look forward to Saturday. Thank you. Good night.